Hi there, I'm Jessica Rose. Welcome to this session on teaching jewellery making as part of your jewellery business. So welcome. As some of you may know, I started the London Jewellery School. So you can probably guess that I'm passionate about teaching jewellery making as much as I am about helping people to sell it. And just to give you a tiny bit of background about my story, originally I always wanted to be a jewellery designer, and I started out making and selling jewellery in shops and galleries and online and through craft fairs and markets, which I loved doing. But after a little while, I went on a course, and part of the course was to train to teach jewellery making. Now I thought, I'm not going to like this, it's not me, I'm all about designing jewellery and selling it. But I really enjoyed that part of the course and decided that I would try and do a little bit of teaching on the side. Once I started running my first classes, I loved them so much. It's so rewarding to meet people who love jewellery making as much as me and help them to learn the new skill and craft that they're looking to learn. So you might be in a similar position where you run a jewellery business and it's something you love and are passionate about, but you're looking to add other avenues to that. Now, not only is teaching a really rewarding and exciting experience, but it's also a nice way to diversify your income in your jewellery business. So there might be times of the year where your sales dip or different parts of your business aren't going as strong as you need them to. And teaching is a nice supplement to that in terms of income and also variety. You know, as jewellers, it can be lonely. Sometimes we make at home all the time and just send out packages through the internet, never really having that much contact with people in our work. Teaching is a nice way to mix it up, because doing 1 or 2 days a week of teaching, or however much you do, will give you contact with other people, which gives community and is a really nice part of running a jewellery business. So it's about having a passion for teaching, I think. People often ask us, do you need certain qualifications? Are there certain things that you need to do before you start teaching? And of course there are different criteria that are important to me. But the first one for me is always having the passion for your craft. So if you love jewellery and you love people and you love the idea of teaching, then this may well be for you. So here are some top tips if you're thinking about starting teaching or you already teach and want to develop that part of your business. The key for me to teaching jewellery is having a solid lesson plan. So a lesson plan will set out what you're going to do that day, how long each part is going to take, when you're going to take breaks, when's lunchtime, and when does the end of the day come. You'll also write in your lesson plan about the materials that you need and all the little details that are going to help you get through the day in the most slick and positive way. Now, if you're thinking about teaching, I would absolutely say write a lesson plan first. Pick a class that you want to do, and I'd encourage you to do a 1-day session. So in a day, a lot of people can learn a lot of different skills, especially if it's a one-to-one in your studio. But even if you're having a small group, there's a lot that you can get through in a day. But it's about working out how much you can manage so that we don't over-promise and under-deliver. In fact, we want to do the opposite with our students. We want to under-promise and then over-deliver when we come to teaching. So test teaching on your family and friends first. This is something that I would encourage you to do if you haven't done any teaching before. Once you've written your lesson plan and you have an idea of what you're going to cover for the day, maybe ask a family member or a couple of your friends to come together and teach them for a day. You'll learn how quickly everything takes, or how slowly, depending on how it goes. You'll also learn the dynamics of working with small groups of people, and it will build your confidence. So when you do your first class, you'll be able to say that you have some teaching experience because you've already done some with your family and friends, and you'll just have that confidence of knowing that you've already done it before. Now, one key part of teaching is having a level of patience. So we often say that the student is always right. Now, they may not always be right in what they're doing, but we always need to be there to support them. If you think back to when you first started jewellery making, think of the challenges that you faced. Perhaps you were nervous before your first class. Perhaps you travelled a long way and you weren't sure if it was going to be worth the money that you'd invested. Perhaps when you sat down, you were nervous about being introduced to people, or you were worried that you weren't going to be good enough at making the pieces. These are all common fears from students, and as the teacher, we need to be there to help reassure them, make them feel comfortable, and give them the skills, confidence and knowledge to go forward to do their jewellery making in the class and at home afterwards. Another really important part of teaching is to know your subject inside out. So whatever it is you're teaching, people are going to have questions, queries, and possibly slightly different experiences to your own with that material. So try and have a think about what questions they might ask you in advance. It's even a good idea to write down a Q&A of the common questions you expect to get. That way, you've got your answers prepared and you can be confident in delivering them to your students when they come. Don't be afraid to say that you don't know something. So yes, if you're teaching, it's important that you're knowledgeable about your craft, but you're not expected to know everything in the world. So if there's a question that comes up that you don't know, don't blag it or make something up, which sometimes is what we think to do on the spot. Just say, that was a really good question. I actually don't know the answer to that, but you know what? I'm going to find out the answer for you. That's the key part, is if you don't know, let them know that you will get back to them and you're going to do the research and find out for them. Another thing with teaching, it's important to be confident and relaxed. So we spoke a little bit before about how your student might feel a bit nervous about the day ahead. If they've never done jewellery making before, it can be a little bit apprehensive. So you having a confident and relaxed attitude, even if it's a little bit put on, will help them to relax, and it will help you all to have a really nice day. I often find that a nice welcome to your students makes such a big difference, followed by you being confident through having your lesson plan and your structure throughout the day. It helps to hold them in a safe place so that if they make a mistake, it's okay. It's all part of the learning. On to a bit more of the logistics. It's important that you have insurance for your teaching business. So you'll probably have insurance already for your jewellery business. I would give them a call, let them know you're interested in starting workshops, and will they cover you? Are there any extra costs involved or anything extra that you need to do? You want to make sure that you're fully covered for you and for your students. Now, we spoke a little bit about qualifications at the beginning, and the truth is there are no qualifications that you have to teach jewellery making. It's all about you having the passion, the skills, and putting yourself out there. However, there are teaching qualifications, and it is a nice idea, if teaching is something that's going to be a core part of your business, to have a go at some of those. Now, they change from time to time and depending on what country you're in, but often there are some evening courses in basic teacher training, teaching in the lifelong learning sector, which is adult teaching. So if this is something you're going to go down, I would encourage you to have a go at some of these trainings. It will help to build your confidence, it will help you to understand your students better, different learning styles, and so on and so forth. However, if you don't have a qualification, it doesn't mean you can't teach. As long as you have all the skills and experience you need, you're confident and you put yourself out there, you can do it. Preparation is key when teaching, and one of the most stressful parts of teaching that I've found is when your materials don't arrive on time. So imagine the scenario, you've got a group of students coming tomorrow, you've ordered your metal clay or whatever the tools and materials you need, and they just haven't turned up in time, either because you ordered it too late or because there's been a problem with the courier. It's so important to order well ahead of time. So I try and order a few weeks in advance when I'm doing teaching nowadays, because there's nothing more stressful to me than that. And we are super lucky at the London Jewellery School because we're in Hatton Garden, so we're opposite all of the suppliers. So we now don't have this problem because we can just pop across the road and get things. But most of us aren't in that situation, and we might be at home nowhere near a jewellery supply shop. So do get in everything well in advance and make sure you've got enough for all of your students plus some extra, because you never know what's going to happen if an extra student books at the last minute, and so on and so forth. So stock management is quite a big part of running a teaching business. Now let's talk about promoting your classes. So you've decided that you'd love to do teaching, you feel confident about it, you know your craft inside out, you've got your materials ready, but we need to promote the classes to get students to come. So this is the same as in your jewellery business. It's all the same marketing platforms: social media, websites, press. Any type of marketing that you do for your jewellery business is going to be relevant for your teaching business too. Also, friends and word of mouth is a great way to promote your teaching business. So word of mouth, I find, works even better in teaching than in jewellery in general, because once someone's been on a class, they can't wait to tell everyone about it. Look at this jewellery I've made it in a day. I can't believe that I've achieved all of this. You know, we're lucky that we get to teach jewellery because it's such a nice thing to teach, because people love it, and there's nothing better than that feeling at the end of the day when they came in a little bit nervous, unsure if they'd be able to make anything, and they leave with all their beautiful pieces and go home and tell all their friends and family and have that excitement that we've all had for jewellery making. What about if you're interested in teaching children? So children love jewellery making, and it's a great thing to be able to teach them too. But we need to consider their age and ability. So different age groups will have different motor skills, different abilities to work with different materials. The other thing we need to consider is that you need to have insurance for working with children as well, and something called a CRB check in the UK, which is like a police check to show that you're okay to be working with children. You might have something similar in your country, and do have a look at the guidelines, because most of these are UK based. So have a look at the guidelines before you start teaching in your country, in case there are any other insurance or practical implications. So there's some top tips on teaching for your jewellery business. There's of course so much more to cover on this subject, but I hope that that gives you a good brief understanding of what you need to do and how you need to do it. Do let me know your teaching experiences and how you found it. And I would love to help you grow your jewellery business in general, which is why I've developed a free guide on how to grow your jewellery business, and you can get your free copy on the link below. Sign up and we'll send you the copy straight away, which will cover key strategies to help you move your jewellery business forward to be profitable, successful and sustainable in the long run. Thank you so much for joining me on this video today. I would love to connect with you on social media too. You can find us at Jewellers Academy on Instagram and all the other social platforms. Wishing you a wonderful rest of the day, and I hope to see you on another video very soon. Alrighty, bye for now.